Hi, I'm Fox.
Couch Guy.
Regular.
You're watching the Two Smart Guys show, where we bring you the latest and greatest in modding your devices, voiding warranties, and all around improving your devices, as well as news on the latest computer or technology things that we find interesting.
And what do we find interesting this day, or hour, or week, whatever time frame you want to use?
Well, today we're mourning the death of optical media and celebrating the release of a new OS.
wait, I didn't know this was funeral and baby shower.
I really didn't get an invitation to the wake, so I'm not sure, who actually murdered optical media yet.
I think
I'm still using it.
I think it's the beginning of the end. When was the last time you bought a CD or used a CD?
Used a CD or because I bought a CD, no. Used a CD, yes.
Used
because
a CD.
I still. Yeah, but
been a while.
In optical media, could you have? That's like saying, when was the last time you used that 128 megabyte flash drive you got stuffed in the drawer?
So
like, why?
Yeah, and
optical media. Oh, okay, let me. Okay, on that note, optical media still has a place because digital infrastructure for the United States still blows chunks. You could say that for places like Korea or Japan or Europe because they've got awesome broadband, but over in the U.S., we suck balls when it comes to broadband.
Well,
Lion.
Just because the CDs are dead doesn't mean that DVD and Blu-ray aren't.
Yes, exactly. Blu-ray, especially. I mean, the sheer size of Blu-ray means it has to be an optical medium.
Okay, so we're talking about Lion here, the release of the new operating system for the Mac.
Oh,
and the
I
fact
thought
that
they were going to name that Tabby Cat.
They're calling Alex.
Alex.
Tabby Cat.
Garfield.
There you go. I think we need to have a vote for the next name. Name because it should
Alex. What's another cartoon cat? The Pink Panther.
Felix.
The Pink Panther. Felix. No, the Pink Panther could be the distribution of leopard for the gays.
Oh, Raggle, we love you.
I can just see it now. No? It's an untapped market. No? Okay.
Well, soon enough, they're going to run out of frickin' cats, all right? We're just helping them out.
I think they got plenty of cats. But you know what? They need to name the iOS after small cats. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, it'd be like, what are you guys running on your iPod? I'm running Tabby Cat.
Exactly. That's what
Lion doesn't like tabby cats. I can hear that
so
technical.
Back to the death of optical media. Apple refuses to support Blu-ray on their machines. And they just think they don't even want them. They came out with a new MacBook Air today, along with the release of Lion, and a new Mac Mini.
Mac Mini.
And that doesn't have an optical drive for the server version. And that's the other thing. They're selling server for $50.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I still need to find out what you use it for.
Well, to be a server, right?
Yeah.
Do exactly. What is it serving?
Yeah, exactly. But here's the question: Is the fact that Macs want to avoid optical media in their distribution of their new software a case of not wanting to acknowledge optical media, or a case of wanting to advance DRM?
I'll play devil's advocate here and say that I still interpret that move of not including Blu-ray in those devices as they have something planned for later.
I doubt that. Unless they've got something.
I'm playing devil's advocate. They view Blu-ray as strictly a medium or a media experience that should be not on a laptop or an LCD monitor, but something for the big screen. And it'll be part of another strategy for where they get into the home theater market, which is what I thought the Mac Mini would be going towards.
Well, I don't think an OS should be shipped out on like a Blu-ray, but I think that you need to have your MacBook Pros need to come with a Blu-ray optical drive inside of them, not just for a media experience. Because how many people? Here's the reason why. More of, I'll say, a generation that is going into college will own a computer as a source of entertainment, then they will own a large screen television and surround sound system. So in that case, if you're talking about entertainment medium,
but that same person
standard
also has a PS3. Okay,
maybe.
This is where you remember how Apple decided to push forward on Final Cut Pro and says, this is how you must use editing software. This is how much. I imagine they're going to say, this is how you must watch Blu-rays.
They already have. They said buy it from the App Store.
They want it's them supporting iTunes and buying their rented movies or whatever else.
Okay.
That's what it's coming down to.
That sounds like a good strategy. If it's making them money, why not do it? Even if it's not consumer friendly.
I always like it, Ragabo, when you talk about buying something that would lock you into one company without freedom.
I'm not advocating, and I'm just saying I can see why.
I know that.
Okay.
As a company, I just find it humorous because it's the exact opposite of what we all want. It's consumerism.
Anyways,
exactly, and that's when we go, oh, yeah, I guess I'll watch Blu-rays on something else then. I'm going to go buy this Dell.
Right,
it has a Blu-ray player.
I haven't tried Lion yet, so I hear the interface is very, very iPad-ish.
Go Geeks was saying that it doesn't look like that unless you launch, he was saying
Launchpad.
It was Launchpad, yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not the default layout.
The default is identical to Snow Leopard. It doesn't look any different. Except for when you use Launchpad. And you can enter full screen, and then you can swipe and use multi-gestures and things like an iPad. But by default, I mean, if your old apps and everything, they work identically the same. So it's just another level on top of what already was there.
Launchpad sounds dumb. Why are you doing that on a MacBook?
Because it's easier. Because, so it's basically the same thing as before, that view that shows all the gridded icons. Except for it just does the whole screen.
Dan, why do you want that on your MacBook?
Because you could find your apps quicker.
Coming from you, that's not a very solid argument. Who has an entire application folder that is like 130 freaking items from stuff that you've just kind of like, hey, this looks cool. I'm going to launch this and install this. Coming from somebody that never really used Spotlight before, coming from somebody that never really used Quicksilver before. I wish Quicksilver was still around.
I use Spotlight quite a bit now.
I mean, I just don't get... Other than that, why else would you use Launchpad McQuack crap?
Well, I think the unification style across all their devices is probably what they're trying to go for.
Which is dumb. Why? It's a desktop environment.
That's like arguing that why bother going from DOS to Windows or from Windows 3.1 to 95 or it's always been to make things easier for the user.
Whoa, no.
Yeah.
No. That is not an analogy that you can use in this instance.
Yes, it is. And I just did.
No.
I think it would be more like you saying that it's justifiable to using the search interface on a Windows 7 phone on a Windows 7 computer.
Sure. And that's what they're doing with Windows 8. They're moving that Metro, was it called Metro? That they have on the Zune, right. And that's what they have a Metro interface for Windows 8.
So Microsoft is going metrosexual.
What do they call them? Tiles or something? I can't remember. Live tiles instead of icons is what their big thing is.
I can't tell you how much I enjoy hearing how we're dumbing down our interfaces for computers to make them glorified porn finders.
Hasn't that always been the purpose of technology?
So you've been working with Lion. What is there anything big you've noticed except for compatibility?
Compatibility. Yeah, it's not there yet. Before you upgrade, check. There's in the show notes. I'll put a link to the compatibility issues that people are having. There's a lot of apps that don't work.
Does Flash work?
Hey,
Nope.
But hey, you know what? I have an idea though. Speaking of things that don't work, if you had a friend who had things that weren't working on their computer, what could you do?
They had a backup.
No, I'm talking about go to assist.
Oh, that one too.
Yeah.
Wrong lead-in. Sorry.
One more time. Hey, if you have a friend who needs to, get their computer worked on, and you're their go-to person,
And you're in
Instead
the
of
Bahamas because you are awesome.
anywhere you want to be, whether it be your
Like the
family, your
Bahamas.
friends, or you can try out Go to Assist right now. Go to Assist
free.
Express, and it gives you access to their computer, lets you check them out. Just go try it free right now with gotoassist.com/podcast.
Go to
You can use it from the
assist.com/podcast.
Bahamas.
Down below.
Yeah.
Check them out. They're cool. They're
Thanks,
awesome.
support from Bahamas. Go Bahamas.
Yeah, one more time, gotoassist.com/podcast. Anyway, so compatibility is always the big pain in the butt whenever you're adding to a new operating system. So what doesn't work?
Flash. They ripped Flash out. So like I noticed that right away. I was pulling up a YouTube video and it was playing back different. And I was like, oh, that's weird. It's using the H.264 version of it. And then I was looking at something else and I was like, there's no Flash. And they were saying like with the MacBook Air, they originally took it out of the MacBook Air like a generation ago. And they were saying that running Flash decreased the battery life when surfing the web from like 6 hours to 4 hours.
There's a
Not
whole lot of
surprised.
advertisers that are going to be really pissed off.
Yeah. They could just say, hey, install AdBlock. And
Yeah.
get your battery life back.
So, yeah. Flash is dead. To Apple,
Well,
anyways.
According to Apple, they're like, oh, what's Flash? You want to use H.264 and HTML5.
I can't remember
What's
what
Flash?
what the numbers were.
H.264 isn't processor intensive at all.
Well, it's all offloaded to the GPU. So
Of course
it's but the newer Flash, if they implement it right, does the same thing. So it's a mute issue, I think.
It's, where went their whole idea of like pushing HTML5?
Yeah,
Wasn't
there
that-
was a big push for HTML5, and
HTML5 is just a tag, and depending on the browser, it can support either H.264 or was it WebM?
Flash.
WebM is supposed to be the new one.
Oh, Google's thing. Isn't that Google's thing?
They bought it and they made it an open.
Oh, that's right. It's open source.
It's open source and it's license free, so anybody can use it. Apparently, you're supposed to pay fees if you use H.264 in certain ways.
Unless you actually, are part of the owners like Apple is, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't remember what the weird rules are, but it's
Use
free for right now.
H.264 so we can get some more money.
Yeah, it's free for now, but it might not be in the future. It's just vague.
Well, so what happens with your Hackintosh?
Oh, what happens with your Hackintosh? Well,
That's kind of simple. Well, sort of. So you keep your Snow Leopard on there, and you load up the App Store. You buy Lion.
you buy Lion.
Then
You don't
buy
pirate it. You buy it from the App Store.
Yeah.
Wait. Tell people why they buy Lion. How much does it cost again?
$30.
$30.
$30 for an operating system. There's absolutely no reason and no excuse for any human being on this planet to pirate an operating system that's $30. I don't care how destitute you are. Put down the cigarette and the booze for a week.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying, $30 if they're making software that cheap,
Bye, beer. You got to come back
There's-
later.
there's not a reason for it. I'm just being the advocate for not pirating this crap. It's ridiculous.
Who's that?
Windows, on the other hand, that costs $300.
Yeah, what is up
And
with
Have
that?
at it.
Just ignore.
What's up with buying Windows Professional retail for $300? It's insane.
Yeah. Forget about Windows. Just use Linux.
Anyways, if you're trying to upgrade your Hackintosh, you can do it. Tony Mac's got a tool, but the first thing you should do is back up your system. And if you want to back up online, like this operating system that comes only online, use Carbonite.
Woo! Yay, Carbonite!
Carbonite!
Yeah. Advertisement time.
They're less than $5 a month. Give them a shot. You get a free 15-day trial if you go to carbonite.com and use the code TPN, as in like the Tech Podcast Network, which we're a part of. And you get 2 free months.
But they do allow you to have an unlimited backup if you really want it for like $60 a year, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's $59 a year. You get unlimited backup. You can try it for free for 2 months. It's pretty cool. Just like tell it to back up your main system drive before you install Lion on your Hackintosh.
So promo code TPN at carbonite.com.
Yes. Give them a shot. It helps us out, and then we can bring you more shows.
It buys me booze.
Yes. Keeps Raggable funny.
I'm sober tonight. Unless you count
tonight. I do like to have that preface, tonight.
Well, there have been other nights with the show.
Anyways, Raggable's installing his Hackintosh even as we speak.
Yes, I am.
He's going to try Tony Mac's new method. So what do you do after you download the app?
So then you have to create a secondary partition using the disk utility. It's going to be 8 gigs. Name it installer. And then after that, you use the new tool. Called Xmove, and what it does, it's basically, I guess, copying the installation of Lion over to the installer partition. Another big note is that when you your system definition for your Hackintosh needs to be Mac Pro 3.1. So you might need to run the multi-beast tool again to reset your system definition.
Yeah,
and that's been about the only big,
and then
hang up.
You reboot, and then you can choose installer, and it'll be an option for that other partition. And then you install it. And then you're in multi-beast again.
Yeah. Yeah. And not much change to the typical Hackintosh installation process.
So we'll be doing a more in-depth episode on that in the future, because I've got like 6 Hackintoshes. Or 1, 2. No, I guess I've only got 3 right now. I'm down to 3.
Only.
I'm down to 3 that are up and running. I've got another 2 at my office that are just kind of sitting in the corner.
That would be that server I brought back,
Yeah, that's one of them. So what else came out this week? That was the word, is that this operating system was finished like a couple of weeks ago, maybe even like a month ago when they put out the Gold Master. But they were waiting to put it out to premiere their new MacBook Airs. And the new MacBook Airs are i7s. They can do i3, i5, and i7.
No, are you sure i7 in the MacBook Air?
Yep, and they...
Are you sure?
100%. That's...
No freaking way.
Yeah, freaking way.
That's not going to kill your battery anywhere.
You have to do the custom build. The pre-made ones are only i3s and i5s, but you can get an i7 if you do the custom build. It's like $1,700 though. It's expensive.
That's like putting a Ferrari engine in a Fiat.
The other thing is, it's got Thunderbolt on it, which is pretty cool. So that you can hook up, multiple monitors to the thing, or high-speed devices. Still only USB 2.0. That's another technology Apple just refuses to use, is USB 3.
Well, they didn't make it.
They didn't make USB, did they?
They kind of championed USB. Let's be honest. If it weren't for Apple, in the early years of the new iMacs, there would be no real big USB acceptance.
Exactly. And if I'm paying $1,700 for an Apple laptop that you could buy from Dell for like $500, and it has USB 3.0. I think the one that costs 3 times as much should have USB 3.0.
This is bringing up my argument that I was having earlier, is that when did Apple stop being the headline of things and, start being the people dragging down the technology? Because in reality, by ignoring some of the stuff that, is kind of the, I don't know, I feel is the general populist standard of, we're watching Blu-rays, for the most part, most of the things we interact with is Flash. I really don't care what the Flash one. But to ignore things like USB 3.0, to defer to your own standard, is kind of ignorant.
You need a quieter keyboard, Raggable.
Hey.
Kind of like the clacking sound in the background. It makes me sleep better.
It is. It's reassuring.
You could sell clacky keyboards.
Anyways, they also came out with a new Mac Mini, so that's kind of cool. And it's you can get i7. You can do a quad core on there for server, which apparently
it's $50 now.
$50 now, or it comes with it, the one for $1,000.
I do have the same question Raggable has. What are you going to do with a $50 Mac server?
Yeah, can somebody in the chat let us know what you do with Mac server?
Is it just going to hold on to your video files that you're, or what are you going to do with it?
You can use it as a file server. You can use it as like a file server and a web host, and it's a server.
So basically, when Mac killed their server line, they had a whole bunch of hard drives left over. They're like, we got to get rid of these. Well,
things. everybody was buying Mac Minis and making servers out of them because they worked really well because they were tiny and they were cheap, and so a lot of people were doing that anyways.
They're going to be the media server.
They're also buying Mac Minis and turning them into render farms.
Yeah, they're. Well, for one, the old ones didn't consume hardly any power compared to the other servers. So that was one of the reasons a lot of places were using them. I can't remember what the big deal is. I know you can do different file systems. Okay, so you can do file server, instant messaging server, mail server, address book server, calendar server, and a web server. That's what it's saying.
Instant messaging server?
That's what it says. Instant messaging server.
What?
How about a media server that actually interacts with more than just Apple?
So the trivia question, since this is another apparently half-hour podcast, for people that bother to stick around to the end, if you answer this,
I think it should be a weekly thing.
A weekly thing.
Yeah, every week we should have a trivia. Whether or not they get a prize or not is up to whether or not they actually pay attention.
Right. So the first person to email me the answer at pox@twosmartguys.com, I'll send you a Two Smart Guys little sticker. What's a good trivia question?
How many times have I sweared on this show tonight?
Oh,
that's not a very good one because that's a really high number.
I wasn't paying attention.
Nobody knows.
No, that's a bad one because then
the person that can get the Pox with all the timings of the swearing gets a sticker, so he doesn't have to do all the work.
Hey, there we go. Sweet.
Because he was bitching so much about it.
That's right.
There's another one.
Anything above a G rating that Raggable said and that I have to edit out, send me the times of it from the show, and then I will send you a sticker. All right, good night.
We really do listen to your suggestions, which is why Pox went out and bought some webcams, because obviously our poor decrepit laptops and desktops when he's on the road aren't sufficient for your needs.
Oh, and that's the other big thing. Comments that helps us out in the rankings and all that fun stuff. So let us know what you think, and it helps us improve the show. I got all sidetracked. There was one other thing I was going to say. What was it?
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
See you guys next week. I gotta get out of here.
Okay.
Bye.
This has been the Too Smart